All right, guys, good morning. We'll get started here in just a second. Those of you watching this podcast, you can see the latest Chromebook headline. Let me grab my coffee and we'll get started. And good morning for this Sunday morning. All right, so it's been a while since I've done a Good Morning Linux, so let's talk about Linux stuff for this Sunday morning. As you can see the headline here from the Android Authority, Google is shutting down their browser. You probably didn't know it existed. Well, I'm sure most Chromebook users knew about this. The browser was called LACROS, and basically what it did, it allowed you to extend the usage life of your outdated, expired Chromebook. Now this was done by enabling flags in the browser. So this started back in 2020, available for testing in 2023 last year. The continuation of LACROS does not affect Chromebook users. So if you have a Chromebook getting the usual Chrome OS updates, not going to be a problem. I can't say I am surprised because now with Chromebooks getting minimum 10 years of support, which I believe is the best in the business, and really for machines starting at about $200 or more, really for Linux-powered machines, if people just want a simple maintenance-free machine, it's hard to say no to a Chromebook. And Chromebooks have become really the default Linux machine for the masses who don't have time to tinker or install things. So this does not surprise me. Kind of a sad day, sort of, which means I'll have to do something with one of my expired Chromebooks. But something like this, again, now that the newer machines are going to give you, 10 years of support, this was kind of redundant, I guess. Just a thought. So what do you guys think about all this? Background music provided by Dad. I like Sunday mornings in Italian and romantic tunes. Isn't that great? And of course some Linux, right? All right, so what do I use? Well, I use, of course, Windows 11, a great operating system. When Microsoft leaves the technology politics out of it, it's a great system. I also like Linux Mint. So if you are new to all this, check out Linux Mint. And you can also check out Zorin OS. There are a few other good ones out there, but out of the 600 choices, last I checked there were 600 choices, you can probably fit on one hand the ones that are really, really solid for the masses. And Linux Mint and Zorin are two of those. Of course, if you buy a Chromebook, there's nothing to install. You're good to go. Just plug it in, log in. That's it. Updates are done unobtrusively in the background. Chromebooks, those of you who may not know this, Chromebooks outsold Macs during the pandemic. Imagine that. Of all the machines, of all the operating systems that we talked about for almost 10 years, less than that, probably about 7 years. So what would be a good Linux machine for the masses? Chromebook was not on my radar. The Chromebooks I knew were out there, easy to use, but they were not on my radar. But once the pandemic hit and people needed to go inexpensive and reliable, I can see why Chromebooks outsold Macs. One thing about Chromebooks, I wish the software would have caught up to the Chromebooks, such as the specific software I use, which would be OBS Studio, Kden Live, maybe a few others, but those two primarily what I use to do all this. it just makes it easier for me because those are two Linux apps that I'm quite familiar with. Been using those for quite a few years now. They're easy to use and reliable, and I just wish they were available or something like it for the Chromebook. Now, I think Google is working on something like that. I haven't seen it yet. Unless I missed something, you guys who use Chromebooks, let me know. But that's what's missing so far to make my Chromebook experience more enjoyable. Here at the local Walmart here in town, last I checked, there are about 8 different Chromebooks for sale, which I think is great. It would have been nice to see a Linux Mint machine, maybe even an Ubuntu machine, which I don't use Ubuntu anymore. But more of a choice, I think, would have been nice. But you have to start somewhere, so I guess we'll start with the Chromebooks. I don't know how many Chromebooks they sell. I don't know anybody who works at Walmart last I checked. Next time I go in, if I see someone I recognize, I'll ask him, how are these machines selling? I wouldn't be surprised if the employee says, Chromebook? What's that? I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but you never know. I want to give thanks to all of you who still are commenting on the car videos that I did about buying a Lexus with 200,000 miles. Still getting some comments on the car stuff. If you don't know, my son blew the engine on his Lexus driving with a bad water pump. And I've been shopping for another one where I live here. You ain't going to find used Lexus. This is not the place or the market for it. It's kind of disappointing. I'd have to drive like almost 100 miles to find something like that. Trying to stay away from American cars. I just don't trust them. That's all that I can say about that. But that being said, thank you for your continued comments on buying a Lexus or something similar. All right, so let me look in the chat here, see if anybody has dropped in this random Sunday morning. It looks like a quiet morning so far. I'll stick around for a little bit longer. Then I'll wrap this up. As long as I have my coffee, I'm okay. You see what I'm saying? I did come across an article from ZDNet that said something like, if you're ready to leave Windows 11 behind, this is a distribution for new Linux users. I'm like, oh, like Linux Mint, Zorin, Chrome OS Flex, something called S-Desk. I've never heard of it. So I'm looking at this, and apparently it's Arch-based for Windows users. I mean, oh man, not good for Windows users. Don't use Arch. Nothing against Arch if you like to get your hands dirty, as it were, but no, nothing Arch-based. No way. If you are brand new, you won't have a good experience. But yeah, not too good advice in my opinion. All right. Well, a quiet morning here for this Sunday morning. Hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday morning breakfast, church, and all that stuff. Shall I leave you with a joke? Why not? Here's the joke du jour, the joke of the day. What do you call a nun on a bicycle? Virgin Mobile. That joke is for my buddy out west. You know who you are. The Chromebook master, as I like to call him. What can I say? You know, a day without humor is like a day without coffee, cannolis, strombolis. You gotta have the humor, right? Oh, man. I'm still laughing at that joke. There's just something. I told some of my friends joke. When I set that joke up, they look at me like, uh-oh, here it comes. I said, what, you was expecting something different? Hey, it's just for fun. Oh, man. Hang on, I'm choking here. All right. If you use Linux, let me know. Let me know what your experience was. If you did try Linux and found that it was horrible for whatever reason, don't give up. Don't give up. Try a Chromebook. You need to try a Chromebook first. Then let me know what you think about all this Linux stuff. Because that's really the only true way, I think. At least one of the ways to experience a Linux-powered machine. And so far, I've been using them for a few years now. They're great. No maintenance, no bugs. They're just simple machines. They're not for everyone, granted. Understandable, but they just work. And that's really what you want from any product that you buy, whether it's a computer or a car, right? A new lawnmower. I have to get a new grass trimmer, but you just want it to work. No headaches, no excitement, right? No drama. No returning to the store, waiting in line. I think that's what Chromebooks are all about. But let me know what you guys think about all this Linux stuff. Sorry that I missed you once again. I'm trying to do these at different times. I'm striking out right now, but it's summer. People have family plans. I totally understand doing what you do, like what I do. I'm going to finish my coffee, finish listening to my dad's music. If you haven't already, check out my dad's tunes. I'll have it listed below. A link in the show notes. Original Italian tunes from Italia. Guaranteed to put you in the mood with you and your spouse. If not, then call me. I'll give you some advice. Just kidding. I don't give that kind of advice here. Not on Sundays. Have a good day. Enjoy your Linux. Arrivederci, my dear friends.